Descriptive sketch of a college scout biography of Mark Supple singular invitation to a spread. The next morning, early, while at breakfast, I received a visit from Mr. Mark Supple, the scout, of whom mine host of the Mitre had on the preceding night spoken so highly. There was nothing certainly very prepossessing in his exterior appearance, and if he had not previously been eulogized as the most estimable of college servants, I should not have caught the impression from a first glance. He was somewhere about 60 years of age, of diminutive stature and spare habit, a lean brother with a scarlet countenance, impregnated with tints of many a varied hue, in which however the richness of the ruby and the soft purple of the ultramarine evidently predominated. His forehead was nearly flat. Upon his eyebrows and over his os frontis and scalp, a few straggling straight hairs were extended as an apology for a wig, but which was much more like a discarded crow's nest turned upside down. Immense black bushy eyebrows overhung a pair of the queerest-looking oculars I had ever seen, below which sprung forth what had once been, no doubt, a nose, and perhaps in youth an elegant feature. But heaven help the wearer. It was now grown into such a strange form, and presented so many choice exuberances, that one might have supposed it was the original Bardolph's, and charged with the additional sins of every succeeding generation. The loss of his 146 teeth had caused the other lip to retire inwards, and consequently the lower one projected forth, supported by a huge chin, like the basin or receiver round the crater of a volcano. His costume was of a fashion admirably corresponding with his person. It might once have graced a dean, or, perhaps, a bishop, but it was evident the present wearer was not by when the artiste of the needle took his measure or instructions. 3 men of Mark's bulk might very well have been buttoned up in the upper habiliment, and as for the inexpressibles, they hung round his ultimatum like the petticoat trousers of a Dutch smuggler. Then for the color, it might once have been sable or a clerical mixture. But what with the powder which the collar bore evidence it had once been accustomed to, and the weather-beaten trials it had since undergone, it was quite impossible to specify. The beaver was in excellent keeping, and sweet, except, perhaps, from the constant application of the hand to pay due respect to the dignitaries. It was here and there enriched with some more shining qualities. I at first suspected this ancient visitor was a hoax of my friend Tom Echoes, who had concerted the scheme with the landlord. But a little conversation with the object of my surprise soon convinced me it was the genuine Mark Supple, the true college scout, and no counterfeit. "The welcome of Isis to you, sir," said the old man. "The demesne of the bishop's cap here gave me a hint you wished to see me. I have the honor to be Mark Supple, sir, senior scout of Brasenose, and as well known to all the members of the university for the last 50 years as Magdalen Bridge or old Magnus Thomas. The first of your name, sir, I think, who have been of Oxford. Don't trace any of the Blackmantles here antecedent turned over my list this morning, before I came got them all arranged, sir. Take notice, in chronological order, from the friars of 148 Osney Abbey down to the University of Bucks of 1824, very entertaining, sir. Take notice many a glorious name peeping out here and there very happy to enroll the first of the Blackmantles in my remembrancer, and hope to add M. A. and M. S. S. which signifies honor to you, as Master of Arts, and glory to your humble servant, Mark Supple Scout. Always put my own initials against the gentlemen's names whom I have attended. Take notice. The singularity of the ancient's climax amused me exceedingly. There was something truly original in the phrase. The person and manners of the man were in perfect keeping. "You must have seen great changes here, Mark," said I. "Were you always of Brasenose?" "I was born of Christ Church, sir, take notice, where my father was college barber and my mother a bed maker. But the students of that period insisted upon it that I was so like to a certain old bigwig, whose Christian name was Mark, that I most censoriously obtained the appellation from at least 100 godfathers, to the no small annoyance of the dignitary. Take notice. My first occupation, when a child, was carrying billet due from the students of Christ Church to the tradesmen's daughters of Oxford, or the nuns of St. Clement's, where a less important personage might have excited suspicion and lost his situation. From a college Mercury, I became a college devil and was promoted to the chief situation in Glorio 1, alias Hell, where I continued for some time a shining character and sharpened the edge of many a cutting thing, take notice. Here, some wag having a design upon my reputation put a large piece of cobbler's wax into the dean's boots one morning, which so irritated the bigwig that I was instantly expelled college, discommoned, and blown up at point nonplus, take notice. One Glorio, a place in Christchurch called the Scout's Pantry, where the boots and shoes and knives are cleaned, and a small quantity of Geneva or Bill Holland's double is daily consumed during term time. 149 . Having saved a trifle, I now commenced stable keeper, bought a few prime hacks, and mounted some of the best tandem turn-outs in Oxford, take notice. But not having wherewithal to stand tick, and being much averse to dunning, I was soon sold up, and got a berth in Brasenose as college scout, where I have now been upwards of 40 years, take notice. No gentleman could ever say old Mark Supple deceived him. I have run many risks for the gown, never cared for the town, always stuck up for my college, and never telegraphed the big wigs in my life, take notice. "Is your name Blackmantle?" said a sharp-looking little fellow in a gray frock livery, advancing up to me with as much sang-froid as if I had been one of the honest fraternity of college servants. Being answered in the affirmative, and receiving at the same time a look that convinced him I was not pleased with his boldness, he placed the following note in my hand and retired. To the usual style of invitation, to a college wine party or spread. The above is an exact copy of a note received from a man of Brasenose. 159 . Handing the note to old Mark. "Pray," said I, not a little confused by the elegance of the composition, "is this the usual style of college invitations?" Mark mounted his spectacles, and having deciphered the contents, assured me with great gravity that it was very polite indeed, and considering where it came from, unusually civil. Another specimen of college ceremony, thought I, but come, Mark, let us forth and survey my rooms. We were soon withinside the gates of Brasenose, and Mark having obtained the key, we proceeded to explore the forsaken chamber of the Muses. "Taking possession of your rooms,"